Good afternoon, student. Today we will study the Clausius-Mosity equation. Before start this equation, we will study some basic definition. The first is electric susceptibility. Then, for homogeneous and the isotropic medium, the ratio of polarization per unit volume to the net electric field epsilon naught E is called as the electric susceptibility of that medium and denoted by the psi E, where it is given by the formula P upon given by the equation P upon epsilon naught E. Next is the local electric field. In polarized dielectric substance, the electric field acting on each molecule of dielectric is called local field or microscopic field. This field depends upon the position of molecule. The induced dipole moment P of the molecule is proportional to the E local. Therefore, P induced dipole moment induced dipole moment is directly proportional to the E local, which is given by alpha E local, where alpha is the molecular polarizability. This Clausius-Mosity equation gives the relation between this molecular polarizability and the dielectric constant that we defined in a previous lecture. For this relation, we consider the dielectric material is placed in a uniform electric field between the two parallel plate of capacitor as shown in the figure. Here we place this dielectric material. These two are the capacitor plate and the electric field is applied between these two plates. That E0 is the applied electric field and here E dash is the internal electric field. Due to the application of the electric field, there is the separation of the charges at the two end of the two end of the slab. Therefore, they also form the internal electric field and they denoted by the E dash. Let small spherical cavity. Here we consider the small spherical cavity enclosing the point where the field is to be determined. Here that is the small spherical cavity and here is the one point at which we have to determine the electric field. Then the net local electric field at a point is given by, then the net electric field at a point which is at inside this cavity is given by E local equal to E0 means applied electric field, E dash means field due to this charges, separated charges in a dielectric medium, E1 this is due to the charges on that cavity and E2 means due to the dipole is present in that cavity, where E0 is the external electric field applied, E dash is the field due to the opposite charges on the surface of dielectric, E1 is the field due to the opposite charges on the inner surface of the spherical cavity. Here inner surface of the spherical cavity, and E2 is the field due to the atomic dipoles inside the cavity. Now that net electric field, we define the net electric field is nothing but the applied electric field and the internal electric field which is given by capital E, and the field E2 is 0 for the symmetry of the cavity. Due to the symmetric nature of the cavity, this E2 become 0 means net E2 become 0. Therefore, the equation 1 become E local equal to E plus E1. Then to find this E1 means the electric field due to the internal charges on that cavity. This E1, to determine this E1, consider the elementary area ds, where of this along this spherical cavity, this is the spherical cavity in which we consider the small area ds. Here we consider the small area ds at the position A on inner surface of the spherical cavity. Let theta be the angle between OA, this is OA, and the x-axis is between along the x-axis and this direction OA. P be the polarization vector from negative to positive charge. Here P is the polarization vector from negative to positive charge. Therefore, the component of P normal to ds is that P is the polarization vector and they resolved into the component. The first is a P cos theta is the normal to the ds and that component is a P cos theta, and the another component is the P sin theta that resolve perpendicular to the ds. It is the normal to the ds. This is P cos theta, and the if we draw the perpendicular to the this ds area, it is the P sin theta component. That P is resolved into the two component P cos theta and P sin theta. One is the normal to the small area ds and other is the perpendicular to the area ds is a P sin theta. Then the total charges on the area ds. Then the total charges on area ds will be P cos theta ds. Therefore, the force on unit positive charge placed at O. Here we place the charge. Here we place the positive charge. Then the force on the positive charge O due to the charge on ds. Here also the some charges due to this charge, the force applied on these charges is given by the Coulomb's law, which is equal to charges is a product of charges upon the square of the distance between them. This charges is a P cos theta and the ds upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. This distance OA is a r, which is taken as r square. The component of F1 along the x-axis. The component of F1 is along the x-axis is a cos theta. Therefore, we consider here P cos theta ds. We take the value of F1 P cos theta ds 4 pi epsilon naught r square into cos theta. This cos square will become cos square means P cos square theta ds upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square, and along the y component this f1 become f1 sin theta. Therefore, we substitute again f1 value P cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square sin theta ds. Now, the cavity is assumed to be divided into the large number of circular strips of the width equal to r d theta. Here we consider this cavity is divided into the number of the circular strips having the width r d theta. Here r and d theta is the width of this strip. Then the length of the strip is given by 2 pi r because it is divided into the circular strip. Therefore, we take the circumference of circle 2 pi r into sin theta. Therefore, the length of the strip is a 2 pi r sin theta. Then the area of strip, which is into the length into the width, that length is a 2 pi r sin theta and width is the r d theta. Here we take the r d theta, therefore it becomes 2 pi r square sin theta d theta. For every area ds on the right side of the cavity, there is the another area is carrying the equal positive charges on the left side of the gravity. If suppose we consider here the area on the right hand side, then there is a equal area, also equal area in a LHS side, means they will form, suppose they will carry the negative charges, then the equal area on a left hand side also carry the positive charges, means they will form the equal area but having the opposite charges. Hence, the vertical component of the force become 0. Therefore, it gives the vertical strips, therefore, but having the opposite charges. Therefore, the net force on this vertical component it become 0. Therefore, the net force on the unit positive charge at O due to the charge on the strips is P cos square theta 4 pi epsilon naught r square 2 pi r sin theta ds, means this is this component y component there become 0. Only we get the horizontal component of the force, therefore we take this term and therefore we write here P cos square theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square into area 2 pi r square sin theta d theta. Then solving this, we get p cos square theta sin theta. This 4 pi epsilon 4 pi r square and 2 pi r square get cancelled. The remaining is a 2 epsilon naught. Then we get the F equal to, therefore the electrical field E due to the charges on the complete spherical cavity is given by E1 equal to, now find out the complete spherical cavity, we will integrate this term from 0 to pi, means from 0 to 180 degree. Therefore we take the integration here along this equation. We get the p cos square theta upon 2 epsilon naught sin theta d theta. Here we get, after integration, here we get the p 2 epsilon naught is a constant of integration is over 0 to pi cos square theta sin theta d theta is the equation number 3. Put cos theta equal to t. Here we substitute the cos theta equal to t. Then derivative of this sin theta d theta become minus dt. If we derivate this cos theta, we get sin theta minus sin theta d theta and t is a dt. When theta equal to 0, means suppose theta equal to 0, then t become 1, and when theta equal to pi, the t become minus 1. Means if we substitute 0, cos 0 is 1, therefore t become 1, and cos pi means minus 1, therefore t become minus 1. Then use all this value here, we get the integration over. Again, after substituting this value, p 2 epsilon naught integration from positive to negative t square dtt. Here after substituting the value of minus dt, therefore we get the minus sign. Here is the higher limit to the lower limit, therefore change this limit from lower to higher, then automatically this negative sign get cancelled. It become minus 1 to 1 t square. Now integration of t square is a t cube upon 3. Limit, take the limit, we get this answer p upon 6 epsilon naught 2. Then finally we get p upon 3 epsilon naught. From equation 1, the total internal field at O is given by, we know that, from equation 2, the total internal field E equal to, not this, we know that the total internal field is a E equal to P upon 3 epsilon naught. Then this E1 is a P upon 3 epsilon naught. Then substitute this value in equation 2. Here we get the E local equal to E plus P upon 3 epsilon naught, means this equation. The equation 4. This E local is known as the Lorentz field. This is Lorentz field if n be the number of dipoles per unit volume. Suppose there are the n number of dipoles per unit volume, then this P is defined as n alpha E local. Okay. Then alpha is the electronic polarizability or the molecular polarizability. This alpha is the electronic polarizability. Then by using the equation 4, means this equation 4, by using the equation 4, it become P equal to n alpha E. At the place of E local, we substitute this value E plus P upon 3 epsilon naught, equation number 5. Now we know that the relation between the D, E and P is D equal to epsilon naught E plus P. As D is nothing but the epsilon E, here we substitute the epsilon E equal to epsilon naught E plus P. Again this epsilon is nothing but the epsilon naught into epsilon R. We substitute this value, this epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon R. We substitute this value here. Then take this term here. If we take this term here, we get the epsilon naught E is a common. Remaining term is a epsilon R minus 1 equal to P. Again rearrange this term, we get E equal to P upon epsilon naught in bracket epsilon R minus 1. Put the value of E in equation 5. Here At the place of E, we have to substitute this value P upon epsilon naught epsilon r minus 1. Then substitute this value at the place of E, we get n alpha E in bracket, we substitute this value plus P upon 3 epsilon naught. Then solving this bracket means take the cross multiplication and solving this bracket, we get n alpha E P, here we take the common P here, 3 epsilon naught, here we take the common P upon 3 epsilon naught. Then there is the term, remaining term, in this bracket we take the common P upon 3 epsilon naught, it become n alpha E P upon 3 epsilon naught, and the remaining term in a bracket is 3 upon epsilon r minus 1 plus 1. Here if we take the 3 epsilon naught means here is the 3. Then take the cross product and solving this equation, finally we get this term. Here after taking the cross product and solving, we get n alpha E P upon 3 epsilon naught into epsilon r plus 2 upon epsilon r minus 1. It is simply by taking the cross product we will get final this equation. Then this again become n alpha E upon 3 epsilon naught equal to epsilon r minus 1 upon epsilon r plus 2. This is the Clausius-Mostry equation. The dielectric constant K of the dielectric material is also known as the relative permittivity of the medium. Therefore, it written as epsilon r equal to K. Therefore, at the place of epsilon, we have to substitute the K. Then this equation 6 become n alpha E upon 3 epsilon naught equal to K minus 1 upon K plus 2. This alpha, after rearranging this equation, we get alpha E equal to, this term become 3 epsilon naught upon n into K minus 1 upon K plus 2. If each dipole is considered as the sphere of the radius A, if we consider this dipole has the is the sphere having the radius A, then this alpha E become 4 pi epsilon naught A cube. Then substitute this value in this equation, we get n upon 3 epsilon naught, or here if we substitute the alpha value here, we get n upon 3 epsilon naught 4 pi epsilon naught A cube equal to epsilon r minus 1, or epsilon upon epsilon r plus 2. Here we substitute the alpha value, here we get this value. Then this epsilon naught get cancelled, it will become 4 by 3 pi A cube n here equal to epsilon r minus 1 upon epsilon r plus 2. If the volume of the dipole is known, then the epsilon r can be determined. By using this equation, we can determine the epsilon r value. If in exam they ask you derive the Clausius-Mostry equation or gives the Clausius-Mostry equation, then only gives the answer up to this equation. Don't write this extra part there. Okay, it is the, if they ask the alpha value, then only derive up to this value or up to this value. Okay, now the limitations of the Clausius-Mostry equation. This is the Clausius-Mostry equation, that is n alpha E upon 3 epsilon naught equal to epsilon r minus 1 upon epsilon r plus 2 is derived by assuming the field due to the atomic dipole inside the cavity is 0, that is E2 equal to 0, which implies the polarization of molecules by the elastic displacement only, the absence of the short range interaction, also the isotropy of polarizability. These conditions are satisfied by neutral molecule of symmetric structure, non-polar, that is the non-polar substance. Thus equation is applicable to neutral liquid and especially to the gases in which the molecules are the far apart. This is the limitations of the Clausius-Mostry equation. Thank you.